Hey everyone, it's me again, and welcome to Faith's Favorites. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name's Faith Grenade, and I put makeup videos here on YouTube. And you should subscribe. Just saying. No, really, you should subscribe, and you should hit that little bell icon down there too. If you give that a little ding-a-ling, then it will notify you every time I upload. Good shit. Alright guys, what you've stumbled across is Faith's Favorites, where I talk about my favorites of the month, of the quarter, of the question mark, just favorites that I've been loving lately. I've been trying to do monthly favorites, but honestly, I really don't have a whole lot of new favorites this month. I've been using a lot of the same stuff over and over, which is a good thing. And a lot of it was in last month's favorites video. I'll leave it in the cards up there, but I do have some stuff to talk to you guys about today. So let's just get right into it, shall we? I haven't decided if this is a favorite yet or not, but I figured I'd let you know. The palette on my eyes today is the new Lorac Beauty and the Beast palette. It is awesome. I just tried this for the first time today, and feeling it so far. Feeling it so far. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. Looks like that. This is a new release from Maybelline, and I got it in the shade 10 Fair Light. This is not the lightest shade in the range. This is the second lightest, I believe. I'm wearing it today. I have baked with this. I have set my face with this. I really enjoy this stuff. I love loose powders to begin with because I think they leave a better texture than pressed powders do. They're easier for baking, all that good stuff, and y'all know I'm a full coverage queen. I love my cake face, so I decided to try this for adding a little bit more coverage to my existing foundations because I'm a recovering full coverage queen. I love my full coverage, and I like to add coverage to medium coverage foundations with a tinted foundation powder. And this does exactly what I need it to do. It adds just that little bit more coverage. It smooths everything out. If my foundation is looking a little blotchy for some reason that day, it smooths everything over. It gives me a nice smooth canvas to work with. The shade match is alright. I mean, it's really not that full coverage. This is a very, very light coverage product. I've also used it on its own. It's not bad. I mean, again, it's very sheer. This isn't gonna have a metric fuckload of coverage, so don't really expect that, but it's great for adding coverage to lighter coverage products. And the next thing I'm gonna talk about is this little guy. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Paints Liquid Shadow Duo in the shade Jet Set Blonde, number 312. More specifically, I'm going to talk about this yellow, like, cream shadow. I don't want to say it's a liquid, but it's not quite a cream either. It's like somewhere in between, and I'll just swatch it for you here. Bam! It's got some serious pigmentation there, and I used this to put speckles on the inner corners of my eyes in a look that I put on Instagram. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you should do that. You should follow me on Instagram because there are some makeup looks that I do not film for YouTube, but I will take photos of almost every look I do and put them on Instagram. So you get to see content there that you don't necessarily get to see here all the time. I used that to do some speckles on the inner corner, and it worked really, really well for that. It stayed decently well. It was pigmented. It didn't take a whole lot of work to build up. I have that duo, which also has a shimmery white, and then I have this duo in Army Camo. I'm really interested in playing around with this. It's got like a khaki green and then a deeper, more forest green. Really looking forward to messing around with that. But yeah, so far those have been really cool. They've been kind of fun to play with. It's a new texture for me. I'm not normally used to working with like liquid eyeshadows or even cream eyeshadows. I don't really use them that much, so it's been a new thing for me, and I'm kind of digging it. Something that initially I was not very excited about. This is the Smashbox Shape Matters palette. I've seen some mixed reviews about this. I adore this. I initially wasn't even going to buy this. It was not on my radar. But then one of my subscribers requested that I compare this to the Kat Von D Shade and Light eye palette. Now those two are completely different. The shades in here are slightly different, and it's got face products and then brow products back over here, but I have been reaching for this thing a lot, mostly for the contour shades over here. I'll use this contour shade, whoa, light beam, and I'll use this shimmery highlight shade. This highlight is stunning. It's so skin-like, it's so bold, it's still got that beautiful shine, but it looks like skin. The shadows, you know, are they anything, ow, are they anything revolutionary? Absolutely not. There are 9 shadows here. The shade range is nothing revolutionary, it's nothing super different, but honestly, if you're the kind of person who's kind of low maintenance when it comes to makeup and you just want one thing that you can kind of reach for most of your makeup routine, this is a great thing for that. It's got a massive mirror, so it's great for travel. I could definitely see bringing this along with me for the big-ass mirror. Guys, you guys know, if you've been with my channel for a certain length of time, I have spent the last probably the last 6 months searching for the perfect foundation. I thought I'd found it, but then the company that made that particular foundation, the Atomic Cosmetics Spackle Foundation, discontinued the line. Now, I have an update for that. They did bring it back. They brought back Spackle, which is fantastic. I'm really happy that they brought it back, but mine had been acting up lately. It had been, you know, it used to be the perfect shade for me, but it had been oxidizing and turning orange, so I figured, you know, let me look around and see if I can find something available like at Sephora or Ulta that does a better job. I've been searching for months, and I've been coming up blank pretty much all the time. You know, everything either isn't the right shade or doesn't have enough coverage or, you know, is blotchy or settles into my fine lines, blah, 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 blah. There was nothing that ticked all the marks. And then I went to Sephora one day. My husband and I were gallivanting around, you know, on a little date day, and we went into Sephora, and I wasn't intending to buy anything. I was like, I'm just gonna look around. Famous last words. But I ended up seeing this there. This is the Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. And I was like, huh, because I'd heard a few good things about this. You don't really hear a whole lot about Smashbox's products, like here on the YouTubeosphere, but I had heard some good things about this foundation, so I was like, let me see if I can find my shade, because I'm a very tough girl to match. I am pale, I have olive skin. It's a tough shade match. Shade 1.1 matches me almost perfectly. I mean, it might be a little pink, but guys, I can't even tell. Like, you can see, I did not blend this on my neck. It looks practically the same. Like, what? I was so psyched when I realized that this matches me perfectly. I was like, okay, buying it immediately, we're gonna test this out. And guys, this shit's good. Like, I think I found it. I think I accidentally, inadvertently found my Holy Grail foundation. This ticks all the boxes for me. It's not too drying, it doesn't show off texture that much, it's got a great finish to the skin when set with a powder and a setting spray, it lasts all day long, it doesn't settle into my fine lines at all, it looks great, it's very smooth, things blend easily on top of it. I did notice that this works better with like a looser style brush, like more of a buffing style foundation brush, as opposed to like a Real Techniques Expert face brush. It's a little bit too dense. It needs something that's a little more fluffy to move the product around. But I use the Real Techniques buffing brush with this, and it is beautiful. It's, I mean, you know, it's a little on the pricey side. I think it's like $42, but that's pretty standard for a mid-range foundation, and this has not steered me wrong at all yet. Does it do well under glasses pads? It does okay. I mean, it still kind of transfers off a little bit, but that's to be expected. Estee Lauder Double Wear did that. Like, everything did that. So, you know, will this last as long as Estee Lauder Double Wear? Not sure. I haven't tested it in those kind of conditions yet, but so far it lasts beautifully throughout the day, and I'm really, really impressed with this stuff. So I had to spend some extra time showing it some love. Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. This makes me want to try more Smashbox stuff because I've been sleeping on them, y'all. I have a few of their things, but I have been sleeping on them because holy shit, like, this is the tits. I cannot believe I just tripped and fell into my Holy Grail foundation. So, and those of you who caught last month's favorites video, you know that I decided to implement a little series called Palette of the Month, where I pick a palette because I have a lot of palettes and I'm on a low buy right now, which means I'm not really buying a lot of makeup. So I pick one palette and I use that palette as often as possible, creating as many looks as possible for an entire month. I, rarely ever deviate from that palette unless I absolutely have to. Last month, my palette of the month was the NARS Narcissist Loaded Eyeshadow Palette. Do you need this? Not really. It's not a bad palette. I don't want to, don't get it twisted. This is not a bad palette. This is actually really, really nice. The quality is decent. The only dud in here, I would say, is Montague right here, this little deep dark brown, which is really unfortunate because it is like a key player in this palette, but it does have some serious weak points. It's pretty patchy, pretty chalky, kind of hard to blend out. Not the worst shadow I've ever used. I mean, I can work with it, but it's like, if you only have 12 shadows in a palette and you're charging this much for it, each and every single shadow better knock it out of the park. And that one kind of didn't for me. Everything else though, all the other shadows are fantastic. They're pigmented, they blend really well. I was able to create a variety of different looks with this, from like really simple natural no makeup to like full-on bronze smoky glam. I created a gorgeous look that I ended up putting on my Instagram with this shade over here, this like bronzy gold shade. It looked stunning. I absolutely really enjoyed using this palette, but you have these. If you have any kind of neutral eyeshadow palette worth its salt, you have these already. A way to get most of these shades way cheaper, and that is to buy the Lorac Pro 1, the original Lorac Pro palette. Do you see how similar these are? Am I crazy? Or are these like dead-on dupes for each other almost? I mean, this one has that warm matte shade over there that really doesn't have an equivalent in the Lorac Pro, but other than that, guys, these are really, really similar to one another. And with Lorac Original Pro, not only is the eyeshadow formula also fantastic, but you're getting more colors for less money. The moment we've all been waiting for. Let's reveal this month's palette of the month. So that was the palette of the month for the month of June. I hope you guys enjoyed this little palette of the month system I've had going on lately. And this month's palette of the month, I've been trying to kind of swap them back and forth. So last month I did a palette that was really neutral. I'm trying to swap between neutrals and brights so people don't get bored too easily, so I don't get bored because I love my bright colors. And this palette of the month actually came at special request from one of my subscribers. I was originally gonna pick another palette, but then she commented on one of my videos and was like, hey, can you feature this palette a little bit more? I've been, really dying to see more looks with it. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, why not? I already have that. And it is the Kat Von D Pastel Goth Eyeshadow Palette. This was such a flash in the fucking pan, am I right? Like, this came out, and it came out a few months ago, everyone was obsessed with it, and then it just faded into obscurity. So we are going to be messing around for the month of July with the Kat Von D Pastel Goth Eyeshadow Palette. I will warn you now, I will probably have to pull some neutrals from my collection to play around with this, but I'm going to try to create wearable looks. I hate the word wearable because everything is wearable, but you know what I mean. I'm going to try and create more pedestrian looks with this, and I'm also going to create some more colorful looks with this. I've only ever created one look with it. I'll leave the video in the cards up there, but I'm really looking forward to using this a little bit more because it intrigues me. That's it. Not too many favorites this month. Well, in my defense, I didn't really buy that much new stuff. I've been really well behaved for June with regard to makeup buying. I did place a few orders though. I had a Sephora coupon and Jeffree Star came out with some new liquid lipsticks, and of course I had to get those because I have every single shade he's ever made. But anyway, I definitely bought some new stuff for the month of July, so hopefully you guys will be seeing some more favorites next month. But in the meantime, I hope you found this video helpful, informative, or entertaining. If you did, there's a button for that. Spank that like button in the butt, you know it deserves it. And if you want to see more from me, got a couple options now. You can click the videos on either side of my head to binge if you're bored or bummed out, or hey, you can hit that button that looks like my face and subscribe and become a member of the Faithful today. I put out new videos every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining me today. I hope you had a great June, and here's to a great July, and I'll see you in the next video. Toodles!